Hello everyone and welcome to this Awesomenauts character showcase with SlowWolf. Today we're going to be covering Commander Rocket, a short stack with an even shorter fuse. He has a massive rocket launcher though, so at least he has something to compensate for his size. Commander Rocket is a moderately quick and agile little guy, but definitely not able to outrun a proper assassin or brawler. His double jump gives him a huge amount of vertical mobility, which is super helpful to his role as a harasser. It helps him to place his attacks correctly and accurately. Let's start with the most interesting part of his kit, Rocket Launch. Rocket Launch fires a rocket that's somehow bigger than the launcher it came from. It deals moderate damage and a smallish AoE around the explosion. The rocket itself will explode if it hits a wall or an enemy, including buildings, or until it times out. At base, the range on the rocket is about the edge of the screen, making it ideal for harassing and keeping your distance. Of note, Rocket Launch doesn't just shoot rockets. There's a significant self-knockback on the rocket, which effectively allows Commander Rocket to boost himself around, or rocket jump. This can be used to escape, chase, or reach incredibly high areas. This knockback also resets the second jump on Commander Rocket himself, allowing him to jump one more time after the rocket launch. This gives him a huge amount of vertical movement if used this way. His regular attack, Charged Salvo, continues the theme. Charged Salvo passively stores rockets in the launcher when not firing, and the game lets the player know when it's fully loaded with an audible beep. Once fired, the salvo will launch all stored rockets at once. This does a significant amount of burst damage from a moderate range, and allows Commander Rocket to dip in and out of a fight without diminishing his overall damage output too much. It's also great for harassing and poking. Coupled with his high mobility, Charged Salvo can be shot at almost anyone, pretty much all the time. Finally, Commander Rocket has Laser Trap, a short-range projectile that can be fired 360 degrees from his position. When it reaches max range, or hits a wall, the trap opens up and blasts the area with two rotating laser beams that deal moderate damage per second to anyone caught in the lasers. Before the trap opens up, the projectile has collision and can block enemy Awesomenauts. As soon as the trap opens up, however, the collision is lost. It's probably fine though, since anyone caught in the middle of the trap takes a lot of damage. The trap also gives vision if thrown into hidden areas, making it a safer way to scout out enemy-held areas than doing it with your face. Commander Rocket is very obviously a harasser, through and through. His extremely long-range rocket launch has a spammably low cooldown, and hits from incredible range. It doesn't do a ton of damage though, so don't count on him bursting someone down from full health. On top of that, the rocket is slow and easy to dodge for more lightweight characters. Despite this, it's so huge that it will be difficult to avoid if aimed correctly or if fired into chaotic situations. It's worth mentioning that Rocket Launch does do damage to buildings as well. Rocket Launch can be used to get in an extra chunk of damage on a turret, while also blasting away to safety. Speaking of moving around, Commander Rocket gets extra mobility thanks to his self-knockback on Rocket Launch. Coupled with his already notable movement, Commander Rocket can use Rocket Launch to be an unpredictable, blasty mess. He can jump super high incredibly quickly, shift and completely change directions in a second, or even catch up to faster enemies who are running away and blasting them with Charged Salvo to finish them off. Creative use of Rocket Launch and good aim will be the key to making the character work. Laser Trap is a largely fire and forget type of experience. Fire and forget it took any skill. Seriously though, it's not complicated to use, and it can be used a lot. It clears droids quickly, kills the solar boss in record time, scouts hidden areas, murders anyone dumb enough to stick around in the area of effect. It's a Swiss Army knife that only has knives and is still somehow useful all the time. It does have a downside, however. The ability is largely predictable and easy to avoid on its own. Paired with other abilities, however, and used in appropriate situations, it is Rocket's most devastating ability. Obvious combos like Sentry's Black Hole or a crap ton of slows can easily turn the trap into a terror. Timing it will be really important here, so don't spam the lasers willy-nilly. Use them wisely. Doing so will be a massive boost to you and your team. Charged Salvo is deceptive. For DPS purposes, you're going to want to fire rockets as they come, but DPS is not Rocket's game. The charged aspect means you can put damage where you want, when you want. If you can consistently land charged salvos at an enemy, you can whittle their HP away in chunks. Combined with the rest of his kit, Rocket can send people home relatively quickly over a prolonged amount of time. That is, if he's allowed to focus on firing on Awesomenauts instead of the droids. Very importantly, charged salvo effectively stores potential damage for later. Coupled with Medican for increased HP regeneration, a sneaky Commander Rocket player can poke in and out of turret range at will, dealing hundreds of damage to a turret while taking negligible damage in return. Commander Rocket has to be careful, however. Outside of using rocket launch defensively, not something most players will want to do usually, he has no inherent escape mechanisms. Characters like Senya and Leon find easy prey here, especially with silence upgrades. Froggy G is hugely noteworthy simply because of right back at ya. All of Commander Rocket's damage outside of Laser Trap can be reflected back at him, making a strong Frog player frightening to the extreme. I mean, not to mention that Frog can easily just burst you down. There are a couple of extra tricks you can do with rocket launch. Thanks to some upgrades, you can fire 2 rockets within a short time frame. By also increasing the knockback ability, both for you and for enemies hit by the rocket, you can double jump, rocket launch, reset the jump, and rocket launch again for probably the single most ridiculous misuse of explosives in the game. It's also fun to see how high you can go, or how far you can launch yourself across the map. You can also, at the same time of this recording, pick an upgrade that increases the range of the rocket launch greatly. A word here meaning literally across the map. Although it's practically impossible, it is funny to imagine launching a rocket from one base to the other. That's it for this character showcase on Commander Rocket. If you want a long-range harasser who can bounce around the map super fast, the Commander Rocket's your pint-sized, cigar-smoking, walks away from his own explosions kind of guy. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed yourselves and got something from the video. If you did, let me know. Hit the like button down below, and I'll see you folks next time.